Sahana bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu saha viryam karvavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May Brahman protect us, may he guide us, may he give us strength and right understanding. May love and harmony be with us all. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Vedantasara Sadananda Yogendra. In our last class, we talked about various concepts about the self. In the first portion of this book, Sadananda Yogendra demonstrated how this whole cosmos, this external universe, superimposed Brahman, pure consciousness, the macrocosm. There he talked about 4 kinds of beings, 14 worlds, then 5 koshas, 5 sheaths of the soul. All these things he discussed. Now he is trying to show us that in how this superimposition is connected in a particular level, individual level. That is in the cosmic level, now the individual level. The first statement he made, some people think the Atman is outside. Some people think my son is my Atman, my car is my Atman, the thing which he loves, my wife or my husband is my Atman. Like that, people have various concepts that Atman is outside. Atman, God is in heaven, outside, separate from me. That is the view of the dualists, and some, he says, some kind of charvakas, hedonist. The second thing Sadananda Yogendra told us, some people think that no, it is not outside. Your body is your Atman. Sava, Esha, Purushu, Anna, Rasamaya. A Purusha, the being, is made out of Anna, food, Rasa, juice, water. So this Atman, this body is made out of, this body is the Atman. That is the view of the materialists. Now, please remember that each school is trying to support his view by quoting the scripture. Second, he will put the reason. Third, he will tell his experience. So he quoted from Taittiriya Upanishad, Sabha Esha Purushu Anna Rasamaya. Purusha, that supreme being, is made out of Anna, Ra, and food and water. We see in our life, I am fat, I am lean, this kind of experience we have. When that person's consciousness is identified with the body, extremely body conscious. Day and night that person thinks about the body. They are all materialists. Now comes the third school. He is showing the evolution of the concept of the Atman. The third school says, no, which body cannot be the Atman. Body is matter. The sense organs are the Atman. The body moves by the guidance of the body, functions through the senses. If there are no sense organs, body is just like a piece of brick, which is the sense organs which makes the body interesting. Aparasyarvaka teha prana prajapati pitaram iti uchuhu ittadi shruti indriyanam abhavi sharira achalana bhavat kanoham buddhiroham ittadi anubhavacha indriyo atmeti vadati. Another school of materialists, means Charvakas, speaks of the sense organs as the self. On account of such Shruti passages, Shruti means Upanishad, the sense organs owing to their father Prajapati and said, owing also to the fact that the movement of the body ceases when the organs cease to work, and further, because of such experiences, I am blind of one eye, I am deaf, etc. This school is quoting the Upanishad. Once upon a time, there was a fight among the sense organs. So all the sense organs went to the creator, Prajapati, and asked him, please decide for us. We are all the time fighting in the body. The eyes, the ear, the nose, the tongue, all the sense organs, they are declaring their own supremacy. I am greater than you. You are, and he says, I am greater than you. All the sense organs are fighting. So Prajapati said, all right, you will not have to fight. Let me tell you a solution. What is the solution? That organ, that person is the highest, without which the other organs could not function. So the eyes said, all right, I shall take 1 year sabbatical. I shall depart from the body. Eyes left. After 1 year, the eyes came back and said, hi, how are you? The other body, the other sense organ says, we are fine. We just lived like a blind person. It doesn't matter. We are still alive in the body. Then the ear took 1 year vacation. And ear came back and said, hey, how are you? Oh, we are fine. We just lived like a deaf person 1 year. The speech also took 1 year vacation, left the body, came back, hey, how are you? Oh, we are fine, we just lived like a dumb person. In this way, all sense organs took 1 year vacation and came back and found the body is intact, that person is functioning. Then, prana, the energy, wants to say, now I shall depart. I shall take 1 year vacation. Then all sense organs were collapsed. Then they started to eulogize prana. You are the greatest, you are the highest, you are the best. There is a beautiful story in the Chandogya Upanishad that the supremacy of the senses, that who is the highest. Anyhow, so Prajapati here, this school says that, the sense organs are very vital, because if they do not move, the body cannot function. Eyes gives direction, ears, all the sense organs are very important. So the sense organs are the Atma. It sounds very funny, but there is a meaning behind this story. Do you know why? Our minds are so gross, so he puts the mind first on the body, then the senses, then the prana, then the mind, then the intellect. In this way, step by step, it will take your mind to the highest Atman, who is the subtler and the subtlest. So first concentrate on the body. First concentrate your son or wife who is outside from your side. Then come to the senses. This school of Charvaka refutes the contention of the former school that the body is the self by the argument that the body is inert when the sense organs cease to function. The Upanishad quoted in the preceding paragraph is meant, according to this school, only to explain the self from the standpoint of gross matter, as otherwise other scriptural texts would be contradicted. If the body were the self, then a youth should remember the activities of his infancy, which he does not. Again, the experience that one is stout, etc., arises out of a false identification of the body with the self. Therefore, the real self this school contents is the sense organs. When a person sleeps, all of his senses rest. When a person faints, the senses also do not function. The body remains like an inert, dead, dull, insentient matter. The moment the waking state arrives, all the senses function and the body becomes conscious and body also functions. So this school believes that these sense organs are the Atman, the consciousness which animates the body. Now they have problems. Well, could you tell me which sense organs is the Atman? If you say the sense, the consciousness of the eye or the ear, which of them is the Atman? Atman cannot be many. Atman is always one. Do these Atman works all together or separately or what? Could you explain to us? This school cannot explain. Moreover, if you think that the sense organs are the Atman, you cannot explain the memory. The question, let me explain to you what is in his mind. He is telling that the eye who sees, I am the seer. This ear, he is saying, I am the hearer. Which eye is the Atman? That is his question. The eye, the smeller, the hearer, the seer, which eye is the Atman? Or all eyes are the Atman? You see? So this Vedanta school says, look, there is a tremendous contradiction among the senses. Moreover, if a person is blind, so a part of his Atman is blind, Atman is gone. If you are deaf or dumb, that section of the Atman is gone. So it cannot be, because Atman is Avinashi, indestructible. These are the arguments, those who think that the sense organs are the Atman. These people cannot answer these questions. Next school. अपरो चार्बक अन्य अंतरात्मा प्राणमय इत्यादि श्रुति प्राण अभावे इंद्रियादि चलना अजोगात अहम असनायवान अहम पिपासवान इत्यादि अनुभवच्च प्राण आत्मा इति वदति. Still another school of materialists holds that prana or vital force is the self on account of such Shruti passages as different from and more internal than this physical body is the self, which consists of the vital force, owing also to the fact that with the cessation of the working of the vital force, the sense organs cease to function. And because of such experiences, I am hungry, I am thirsty. Many people think that energy in our psychophysical system is the Atman. Energy, tremendous power. Energy fluctuates. Oh, today I am full of energy. Today I am depressed. Atman never fluctuates. Atma is the innermost. It is the energy which energizes these senses. As I said, that prana, if the prana is withdrawn from the sense, from the psychophysical system, all sense organs will collapse. Sense organs are supported by energy. So this school believes the energy, this prana, the vital force, is the Atman. Look, if one section of your body is not supported by the blood, the veins and the blood system, the circulatory system, that portion will be paralyzed. So it is the energy which is supporting the whole body. If there is no energy in the body, sometimes we feel it is the prana which preserves this body. Otherwise, body will be a rotten corpse. Who keeps this body fresh? It is prana, energy. Where does it come from? That is the question. I told you, please remember, this pure consciousness, Atman, reflects in human system through three ways. Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. Jnana Shakti means power of knowledge, which comes through intellect. I know this person, that person, food, car. This knowledge comes in the buddhi. Ichha Shakti, willpower, through the mind. If man can do impossible possible through willpower, Ichha Shakti, that comes in the mind. And Kriya Shakti, that comes through prana, energy. Some people have tremendous energy, tremendous power. Atman manifests in physical, in system in three ways: power of knowledge, power of will, and power of action, Kriya Shakti. Prana. What does the prana do in human system? What does energy do? How does it get its energy? Food. Aham ashanayavan, I am hungry, I am thirsty. That is the function of the prana in human system. If you do not eat, if you do not drink, you will be weak. You cannot move from your bed. It is the food which brings the energy. You have seen this huge locomotive engine. In the boiler there is water. And this, the driver and the foreman, they take this coal and put it into the boiler, and that generates steam. And that steam gets so much power, it pulls so many cars on the rail track. From where does that energy comes? From that fire and from the water. So the human system, this food and water generate energy. That is the function of the prana, praner dharma. That is the nature. Mind does not digest food. It is the prana. But prana also is not independent. Question is, who is independent? Without which nothing can function. That is pure consciousness. Pure consciousness does not depend on anybody. Prana also depends on the mind. When mind directs, prana moves. You have a big, powerful engine, in your motor. But if you turn on the engine is on. But if you do not put your mind on the car, the car will not move. The engine, the power is there, but there is no motion. That motion comes through the mind. Mind directs the prana. You go. And prana moves. Prana, sometimes the Western people understand, even not only Western people, everybody understands that energy is consciousness. Energy is not consciousness. If you read in the Kena Upanishad, we already started that book, that yasteja pranena pranitija pranam upashate tadeva brahmatang vidhi nidam yudidam upashate jan manusana manute jenahur manumatam tenahur brahmatang vidhi nidam yudidam upashate. All these senses function because consciousness is behind. This energy functions because consciousness is behind. The mind functions because the consciousness is behind. Without consciousness, nothing can function. Consciousness is the substratum. Consciousness is our goal. Consciousness is Prajnanam Brahma. This consciousness is Brahman. Then the opponent says, if you say prana is the Atman, then what about other pranas? Prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, the other vital forces in the human body, they are also the Atman. So you have the same problem as different sense organs are the Atman. So different pranas are also the Atman. So your statement is not correct. We cannot accept it. Then comes the next school. अन्यस्तु चार्वक अन्नु अंतरात्मा मनोमयः इत्यादि श्रुतेः मनुषी सुक्ति प्राणदे अभावात् अहं संकल्पवान अहं विकल्पवान इत्यादि अनुभवच्च मनो आत्मा इति वदति. Yet another school of Charvakas, materialists, holds that mind is the Atman on account of such Shruti passages as different from and more internal than this which consists of the vital force is the self, which consists of mind, owing also to the fact that the vital force, etc., cease to work when the mind goes into deep sleep, and further because of such experiences as I am considering the pros and cons. This school says, inside the prana, there is another substance, another thing, that is the mind. This mind is the Atman. If mind is awake, prana is awake. Let me tell you one interesting thing in Vedanta. They say that in deep sleep, in big Anandamaya Kosha, all these four sheaths merge. The waking state, dream state, the gross body, the subtle body, which consists of vital sheath, mental sheath, intellectual sheath. All these four sheaths merge. Means prana also merges. Do you know what happens at that time in deep sleep? Prana remains. When you sleep, you breathe. If you do not breathe in deep sleep, you are dead. And that sleep, that prana, preserves your body, even in deep sleep. No, but you have no knowledge about that prana. You do not have any consciousness about your energy at that time in deep sleep, but it is there. I was reading a book while coming back from Chicago on Sunday night. A human beings can forget pains through three ways. If you have tremendous physical pain, you concentrate on your pain as consciousness. Swami Chetanananda had asthma. He was gasping one night. And he was about to die, that type of tremendous agony. What did he do you know? He connected his Atman with his gasping. I am the Atman. I am the Atman. So his pain became his pure consciousness about the Atman. And it transcended physical pain. That is one way. The second way, how to get rid of pain from the physical system. Very interesting, the way he explained. The second way is, you must know a technique. How to withdraw the mind from the body. Like Swami Turiyananda. Doctor wanted to do a surgery on his carbuncle. He told the doctor, please give me a little time. Well, Swami, you need chloroform. No, I don't need any chloroform. Only give me a few minutes time, I shall withdraw my mind from the body, then you do surgery, nothing will happen to me. He just withdrew his mind. He had so much control over his mind that he withdrew his mind from the body and then the surgery was done. He did not feel at all. That is second method. Third method to forget pain is Bhagavat Ichcha, which is the will of God. This karma, I am suffering from this karma. My karma is passing over my system. I have no hands. God, Lord, I surrender myself to you. Look at Nag Mahashaya. When he had colic pain coming from the market, he just fell on the street and pressing his abdomen, he was crying and telling, glory to Sri Ramakrishna, glory to Sri Ramakrishna, that I got this. It reminds my colic pain. I remember the Lord through my colic pain. If I had not pain, I would not think of the Master this way. Even he is connecting his pain with Sri Ramakrishna through his colic pain. You know, it is, we sometimes get headache, stomach ache, so many aches and pain come to our systems. It is a natural thing. But how to forget it? These are the techniques one can adopt. When you sleep, I see that you are breathing. But you have no knowledge about your own breathing. You see? Your prana sleeps. Your knowledge is not there, but I see it. That he says. He says that here is a man, he is the head of the family. So all people are under him because he is the bread earner and he is the main person of the family, head of the family. Similarly, this mind is the head of the family, is the psychophysical being. This author says, your body, your senses, your prana are all controlled by mind. Mind is the in charge. So, mind is the Atman. That is his view. In deep sleep, prana is there, but there is no manifestation of prana. This school refutes the former on the ground that the function of the vital force is controlled by the mind. Besides, why isolate one out of 5 aspects of the vital force? The scriptural text referred to in the previous paragraph means that the self performs its activities with the help of the vital force. Again, by the mere power of the mind, a man gets certain experiences, such as dream, etc., even when the sense organs are withdrawn from their objects. The mind, the school contents with its characteristic power of weighing over a subject is the real self. Do you know what he says? He says that, mind sees various kinds of dreams through the senses without going through prana. Mind has the power. Mind is the in charge of this system. I tell you one thing. If the mind and prana are interconnected, those who practice meditation, they know how these two things work together. When you have deep concentration, you will find your breathing is very slow. Even you won't feel perhaps sometimes that you are breathing. That you will find among the artists. Some people, when they do this art, painter, when they have deep concentration, sometimes they are almost breathless. Because mind is one with that object, prana stops. At that time they feel tremendous peace, calmness inside. A dog, when it is hungry, that means that dog is very hungry. His prana is functioning in a tremendous speed. When a person is very restless, you will find he moves his body continually. That means that person, prana is very restless. And again, you can control the mind through the prana. That the yogis used to practice pranayama just to control the mind. These two things are very interconnected. Our teachers sometimes used to remind us again and again. Sometimes we wanted to stop the mind through prana quickly. He said, don't think that is the only method. If you have deep love, deep concentration for God, automatically your prana will be controlled. Try to increase that aspect. Deep love, deep passion for God. Sometimes he used to say, you will not have to practice any spiritual disciplines. All spiritual disciplines will follow you if you have passion for God. Then comes the Buddhists. Buddhastu anno antaratma vijnanamaya ittadi shrutehe kurtu abhavi karanasya shakta abhavad aham karta aham bhokta ittadi anubhavacha buddhi atmaiti vaduti. As against this, the Buddhists say that the intellect is the self on account of such shruti passages as different from and more internal than this is the self, which consists of consciousness. Owing also to the fact that the instrument becomes powerless in the absence of the agent, and from such experiences as I am the agent, I am the enjoyer, etc. Mind is not the Atman. This school says Buddhi, intellect is Atman. Who is the doer? Who is the enjoyer in your system? Not the mind. Mind does not enjoy. But yes, Swami, mind enjoys. No, really you enjoy. Your ego consciousness, buddhi, with the connected with the intellect, ego. I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. That knowledge comes in buddhi, in intellect. So, that is the Atman. Now I shall tell you in brief the views of the four schools of Buddhism: Madhyamika, Yogacara, Sautrantrika, and Vaibhashika. The first two schools believe the existence of objects, of external objects and internal objects. The other two schools, Sautrantrika and Vaibhashika, Yogacara and Madhyamika, they do not believe the external objects. They believe that it is a continuous flow of knowledge, flow of consciousness, vijnana. Consciousness, flow of knowledge. In this moment, I have the knowledge of the chair, next moment knowledge of the cushion, next moment knowledge of these things. A flow is continuously flowing, just like water. The water which touches your body in the Mississippi River, same water is not touching your body. The next new flow of water is coming. That is their view. It is just like a current of a river. So this current of knowledge is flowing all the time through you, through me, through all of us. Sarvam kshanikam shanikam, and everything is momentary. The next school, the Madhyamika, and the next is Madhyamika school, they believe shunyam, everything is void. Nihilist. A nihilists and the Vedantins, in one way, in Advaita Vedanta, both are more or less the same. One has a negative approach, another has a positive approach. Let me explain to you, then you will be able to visualize what is in my mind. In a boat, Shankara and Buddha both are there. The boat left the harbor and went into the deep sea. When it went into the deep sea, you cannot see the shore. So Buddha looked up and saw vast blue sky, shunyam, wide. He said, shunyam, shunyam. Everything is void. And Shankara looked down and saw the wavy ocean, and he said, Purnam, Purnam. Everything is full. Both are in the same boat, both have the same experience, but approaches are different. One is a negative approach, one is a positive approach. Now they see that Buddha tried to teach that non-dualistic Vedanta according to his way. Here shunya means void, does not mean non-existence. It is formless, unattached, the reality. It has no beginning, no end. This is the ultimate truth. Similarly, in Vedanta, we say this Brahman is neither real, like, real means as we see, like objects, not unreal, not real unreal, not something different. That is the way we understand the things. Either it exists or it does not exist, or it exists and it does not exist, or it is something different from existence and non-existence. But the ultimate reality cannot be known through this way. So Buddha says this ultimate truth is void, shunyam. This shunyam and Brahman more or less same, that this commentator mentioned. Buddhi, intellect is the doer. Without doer, organs do not work. Without that I consciousness, mind, senses do not work. The city functions according to the order of the mayor. Mayor says that you, police department, water department, gas department, each department must function right. So a buddhi is just like the mayor in this human system. It guides that, circulatory system, digestive system, all these various systems in human system works according to the direction of the buddhi, intellect. He is the owner. Sharathi. The Katha Upanishad says, the horses are the senses, the mind is the rein, the chariot is the body, the intellect is the charioteer, the driver. So your chariot moves because of the guidance of the charioteer. The reins of the horses are in the hand of the charioteer. He knows in which direction he will guide this chariot. Buddhi, the determinative faculty in the psychophysical system, is the Atman. That is the view of this school. Mind is just like an instrument. Buddhi says do, mind follows. Just like a woodcutter. If the woodcutter takes the axe and cuts the wood, it will cut. Similarly, it is the decision of the buddhi that whether this mind and the senses and the body will work or not. It is the buddhi. So, according to Yogacara school of Buddhism, this buddhi is the Atman. The commentator says, mind is not the doer. Why do you say so? If mind is the doer, do you know what will happen? Then you will get simultaneous knowledge of seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, smelling. All knowledge will come instantly if mind is the doer. In the mind, the intellect decides, now you hear, now you see, now you taste, now you smell. Mind is the corona. It is an instrument through which the intellect gets all this knowledge of different things. Sometimes when I read these things, do you know how do I feel? How these people analyze the psychophysical system. I am telling you just a substance. Page after page, these commentators defended a particular school and shows that what is the weakness of this school. This school that just now we said buddhi, the continuous flow of consciousness, as the Buddhist says, is the Atman. They have lot of problems. They cannot explain memory. what happens? In a moment's notice, you can bring back your childhood memory, your boyhood memory. But if every time new knowledge is coming and vidhangshi, kono vidhangshi, every moment new, then what happened? Oh, my old memory, I can bring back Pratyavijna. I have seen Dakshineshwar some years ago, last year, January also I went. In a moment's notice, I can go there and can visualize Sri Ramakrishna's room, his bed, his picture. I can visualize here right now. If that knowledge is dead, gone, how can I bring back that knowledge? So your argument is defective. Each school is refuting the previous school and establishing his faith. Then the other school will come and refute this school and establish his faith. In this way we are going serially. We started from external world, then body, then senses, then prana, then mind, next intellect. Now we are going to refute the intellect. Intellect cannot be Atman either. For that reason, you remember I made that sheet for you so that at a glance you can visualize how these schools, are presented, how this school presented their views about the Atman. I shall stop here. Next school is a very complicated school. They believe ignorance is the Atman. Shh. They have sufficient reasons to speak about that. In deep sleep, buddhi, your intellect also dissolves into cosmic ignorance. That cosmic ignorance is the Atman. Then we will see that, this school is very powerful. Prabhakaro Tarkiko, Mimamsa school and the logicians school. They say, some people saying, aham ajna, I am ignorant. Some people say, when people experience that I am ignorant. This ignorance is the Atman. Funny. Just I tell you, just to satisfy your curiosity. They think that Atman is a quality which generates like an object. For example, grapes. Grapes juice. You make wine from the grapes. Or you can make some wine, from corn or from rice, fermentation process. They make, some alcohol, some wine, all these things. So he says that it is a chemical process, this Atman comes. It is very interesting. He says, object is there, mind is there. When an object and the mind and the senses meet together, then comes knowledge. In deep sleep, you have no knowledge. But when coming from deep sleep, from ignorance, the mind, the object, and the senses, when they meet together, they generate knowledge. So knowledge comes that way. That knowledge is the Atman, which comes from ignorance. Anyhow, it is interesting. We shall discuss it next time. Please ask me some questions. I do not know whether I am confusing you or not, but these schools, then when Vedanta school will come, then you will feel very comfortable, I guess. Aham nitya shuddha buddha mukta satya savabho atma. Aham, I am, nitya, eternal, buddha, ever awakened, mukta, ever free, ever pure, ever luminous, blissful self. That it will come at the end. First they are showing that evolutionary, the concept of the evolution of various, of the Atman, that how people understand their self, their Atman. Most, really speaking, most people understand this body is the self. Yes.
Yes, Swami, I think I understood the way you explained number 127 about that school thinks that the Atman is the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because then when in the way it said it in the book, I don't understand it. In the sense that when we're asleep, the vital forces cease to work. Well, if that was the case, we would die.
No. That you see, I told you that person, I explained to you in the, I think I made a short sentence. I said, when you are asleep, I see you are breathing, but you are unaware of it. But your knowledge of prana is not there. That he meant.
I understood the way you said it, but it sounds very different.
Very different, I know.
The way it's written.
Another thing, the mind cannot be the Atman. Do you know why? Mind also fluctuates. Mind also, when you were a child, the mind you had, you don't have the same mind. Your mind evolved so much, you gained so much knowledge. Mind becomes pure, mind becomes impure. Purity, impurity, all are in the mind. Liberation, bondage are all in the mind. Mind also fluctuates. We sometimes see your mind swings too much. What does it mean? It means it cannot be the Atman. Atman does not change, does not swing. It remains all the time same. It has no modification. Otherwise it cannot be reality. Body, yes.
Would it be the same as the Western idea of soul?
Soul, yes, capital, that is correct. When you say, the word soul is a very confusing. Sometimes soul means body, sometimes soul means ego, sometimes soul means individual being, sometimes soul means Atman. So most of the translators, some people translated self, S cap, that is Atman. And a small s, self means ego or individual being, that is the way some translators translated. Swami Prabhupada did not bring self. He said, I shall put Atman, I shall put Brahman, let the Western people understand. Because these words must come in the dictionary, and they are now in the dictionary. In Webster, if you open, you will find Brahman, Atman, Maya, these words are there in the Webster dictionary. But these words must come into the English language. These things cannot be translated. We sometimes soul, sometimes self. Some people understand differently. Let us put it in this way. That is the way he did it.
You said that the Atman is not the body, but it does manifest in the body, right?
Yes. Atman manifests everywhere. You remember once I made a remark, this body, when it is dead, is consciousness there or not? That is the question. If your Vedanta says consciousness is all pervading, it is everywhere. So it is in the dead body? It is. Then why do you not see consciousness there? Do you know why? Because the subtle body is not there. Here is the electric bulb. Here is electricity. The filament is gone. So the bulb is dead. The bulb is there. The filament inside, that one broke. So, and it is getting the electric connection also. No light. With subtle body is the filament inside that electric bulb. A subtle body animates this psychophysical system. As I told you, please don't remember, that is the most vital aspect. A buddhi, intellect, and consciousness, that is called chid jor gonti. There the consciousness first reflects, meets. That is the meeting point, your buddhi, your antakarana, inner organ. We call it antakarana, as I explained to you, intellect, mind, ego, memory. These four things comprise that inner organ. First, Atman reflects there. The moment it reflects, it animates your prana, your senses, your body. That is the connection. Electric connection comes on the buddhi and the Atman. Don't remember. We do know the Vedanta school which will teach you how to separate the Anatma and Atma. This is non-Atman, this is the Atman. Learn how to separate. That is called real discrimination. How to separate it. That Krishna said to Arjuna, I work all the time, nothing affects me. My people died, nothing affects me. I am the Atman. I know from the absolute standpoint, they are all the Atman, they are all indestructible Atman. Hey, their name and form evolve, dissolve. Who cares? But our minds are so much attached to the name and form, we think the name and form are the real. Name and so many times we are born, so many times we died, again so many times we will be born and so many times we will die. It is just evolutionary process. Just doing, Krishna says, I constantly work. I do my duty. But karma cannot, na me karma nilimpanti. Karma cannot touch me. I know from the very bottom of my heart, I am the Atman. I am the Self. I am that Supreme Being. The whole cosmos is my body. One portion sank, another portion evolved. It is all inside me. You know, sometimes when you identify yourself with Virat, with cosmic being, you become fearless. The moment you have that unitive experience with Brahman, whom you will never grieve. You will see, I dwell in my husband, my wife, my children, my family, my country, my whole universe. That is the concept of the cosmic being. Aham vai pratamo shariri. All bodies are my body. All eyes are my eyes. All minds are all minds. All my minds. Just think of that, the Vedic concept. The moment you have this knowledge of oneness in deep samadhi, in nirvikalpa samadhi, you have that unitive experience. That is our goal. When you have that experience, this karma, this relationship, all this suffering, misery, all these things will be just like play. Just I must do my play. In the drama, some sections are happy play, some sections are, tragedy, comedy, both are in the drama. Human life is at that time becomes a drama. Just enjoy. Do your duty. That's it. What else you can do? Nothing is in our hands, truly speaking. We are. Sometimes, just try to think about, just expand yourself. Masatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mritturma amritam gamaya, avirabirma yedhi, rudra jatte dakshinam mukam, tinamam pahi nityam, om shanti shanti shanti. Lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to immortality.